Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a tremendous day. We're going to be talking about Palantir Technologies as we have some breaking news to report that they have established a new partnership with a specific company we're going to be talking about, bringing you guys all the details and the benefits that this brings to Palantir and the company. Also, you have insiders. We've seen the talk about insiders selling, specifically Peter. A report comes out today that he is done selling his shares. This is the turning point, the opening of the new chapter. And one thing that was incredible during this time that we saw insiders that were taking profit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, is Palantir's price consolidated. It held steady. This shows that the market basically brushed off all the insider selling. This shows you the bullishness that's still behind PLTR, even at these prices in the high 30s. Closing here at $37.50, we're going to be talking about is $40 on the table, regardless of the biggest criticism that we have mentioned before, which is its valuation. If you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe in daily videos, ring that bell, and of course, not a financial advisor. I'm collecting the data, and you know it, dispatching it to you. Now pop it up right here. Like we said, Palantir up about 2 to 3%, including the after hours at about $37.50. Trading volume slightly down and below our 3-month average is typically about 50 million. We see here at 35 million. The volume looking good here, showing a lot of buying pressure, even though volume is low. Now, on top of that, you have options that are coming in here. A lot of call volume for end of the week expirations at the 38, even here at the 40, a decent amount of call volumes that is outpacing the puts. Let's talk about the partnership right here as PLTR announces and decides to partner with Edge Scale AI to operationalize AI in manufacturing and utilities. This is just the Palantir story that is continuing to be spread out through the industrial market, through all these different sub niches. And Palantir right here announced this partnership to deliver Live Edge, which is a groundbreaking integration of Palantir Edge AI and Edge Scale, working on AI in manufacturing and utilities. Now, this collaboration, what it basically does is bringing AI to these sectors that we talked about in other complex industrial environments. What Live Edge does is it unburdens the customers from complex infrastructure requirements and overhead, really accelerating delivery and time to value and transforming how industries operate. So bringing a lot of efficiency, increasing productivity by reducing waste and that overhead, and working to bring time to value, working smarter, not harder. That's what this partnership is aiming to do. Live Edge also enables direct access to those hard to reach operational data and automates a lot of different physical processes. Now, this is just the story, like I mentioned before, this continuing for Palantir. Remember, earlier they signed the big deal with APA Corporation, working to bring AI capabilities through its AIP software. And then, of course, you had the Maven Smart System. That was another contract. I think we're going to continue to see this in the headlines for PLTR, multiple headlines and different types of contracts and partnerships and collaborations that are being signed on. And this is really good for future revenue guidance for those quarter revenues and in terms of expanding AIP from a commercial customer perspective and revenue perspective. Top it off right here. Like I said, we did have Palantir, Peter, with this report suggesting that he has completed selling the maximum number of shares under a trading plan that he adopted in May. Now, he sold 12.4 million shares at about $37 basically per share from September 27th through October 1st through this 10b5-1 trading plan. We saw this in terms of the filing. Now, the report indicates that he had until December, the end of the year, next year, to actually execute all the sales under the plan, but has now exhausted the numbers of shares that he was set to sell. And I think this is bullish on PLTR and a smart move on his end because this, yes, insider selling brings uncertainty to the individual stock. You know, is there something that they don't know? Why are they taking profits? Lots of hypothesis, lots of anxiety comes about that, the unknown, right? But Peter made a smart decision here, selling them all right away because it kind of closes that book now and opens up for the future. Nobody's going to be talking about the insiders that are selling if we're not seeing a lot of that happening, considering the fact that he had until next year end of year to do that selling, and he's already completed that. So with Palantir announcing this multi-year partnership with EdgeScale, on top of Peter that is continuing to come out with a report basically saying he's done selling the shares, the amount of shares that he said that he was going to do, has executed, is bringing a lot of bullishness to this individual stock right now. And this leads us to earnings. That's about a month away now, guys. It's already October. I know time's going quick. November's already next month. Post-market, the announcement date not officially confirmed. I think we're anticipating about November 1st. 9 cents earnings per share, 11 earnings per share revisions in the last 90 days. Wall Street is keeping this at high expectations. And how does that couple with the market in terms of what's happening? Now, major indexes actually have a rebound today, and it was opposite of what I was anticipating in yesterday's video. With a lot of the conflict that we've seen in the Middle East, especially with Iran, Israel, tensions between there, we got the port strike on top of that. I pictured markets to actually come down, but we see the reversal of that, basically consolidating here, but still closing slightly in the green, inching after we saw that sell-off yesterday. However, investors are really still keeping a keen eye on developments that are happening within the Middle East. This is important, and especially being prepared for key labor market data releases in the next coming days. Now, AI chip maker NVIDIA popped up today. We're going to be talking about this in a second. That helped to leading to those broader gains in the broader markets, and of course for the chip stocks. Semiconductor ETF here at a 1.4% following a steep decline yesterday. On top of that, you have Tesla that fell about 3.5%. After we saw quarterly delivery numbers that fell short of an optimistic Wall Street expectation. And of course, Nike we saw was down over 6.8% after we saw the transition of the CEO, on top of some remarks that came out from him saying, hey, we're not going to make these metrics that we anticipated. They withdrew guidance, and saying that, that turn around the corner is further down the road. Crude oil is continuing to increase. What we're specifically looking for, what the market's going to be anticipating, is the release of Friday for the September jobs report. They're going to be keeping a close eye on this data release, as well as comments from the Fed scheduled to speak here, talking about indication and how aggressive the central bank is going to be cutting the interest rates. Now, we do know one thing with those interest rate cuts. We've seen Powell come out, say, not expect too many. They're going to be following the market, expecting 2 more at about 25 basis points each in terms of the end of the year. We see 14 ports right now that are shut down from the port strike, stretching from Maine to Texas, that handle about 2/3 of the U.S. imports. This could have damaging impacts on the economy. We'll see how long this lasts in terms of the actual strike. Coming over here to NVIDIA, what are we seeing? Increase, and the CEO comes and says an insane demand for the Blackwell AI chips. This is incredibly bullish, not only for the AI demand, but for the semiconductor stocks, and NVIDIA in particular. NVIDIA here rallied late Wednesday, and specifically looking at its price action, what you do have right here is NVIDIA at about 118, up about 2%, including the after hours, even 3%, including the after hours, sitting at 120 right now. We'll see what happens in terms of price action. But what we have here is NVIDIA. You got Jensen coming out, the CEO, saying, hey, we have an insane demand for the Blackwell AI processors. Now, NVIDIA is expected to start selling those Blackwell products in the 4th quarter. That's going to be coming up here relatively in the nearest future. The new processors, though, in terms of power and what they deliver, is 2.5 times more than the performance of NVIDIA's current Hopper chips, which debuted 2 years ago. So the fact that now these Blackwell chips are going to have 2.5 times the processing power and performance in terms of AI, anybody is trying to get their hands on these new chips. Everybody wants to get their hands on it, specifically what he told here, CNBC. So if we look at the market, not, of course, disregarding what we're seeing in terms of the Middle East tensions, those could cause large swings in the market at any time. We're going to see some uncertainty there, and especially with some volatility. However, good news for Palantir, NVIDIA, the broader market. in terms of some bullishness today and momentum. We'll see what happens. What are your guys' expectations? We're going to have the September jobs report. That's going to give us a lead to what's going to be happening with interest rate cuts, though I think the market's kind of pricing in what the current probability is of those 25 basis point cuts. What are your thoughts, comments, opinions, agreements, and disagreements? I like to hear them all. Peace out. Take care. I'll catch you guys later.